Special good night to everybody. It is the 28th of February 2023. Just in case you are not sure what time it is not 1969. No, my friends, it is 2023, and we want to welcome everyone to the broadcast. Folks, you are locked into Caribbean American News Network. We are here to stay. We are firing on all cylinder. Are we together? So please share as much as you can tonight. We have a lot to discuss in the news, and I believe our caption tonight is Order in the House. Order in the House. And I suspect we are going to start on tonight. We're going to go anywhere we're going to go. Our phone lines are open from the beginning of this program. So the number to document, and it's our WhatsApp number, 929-586-1821. Tonight we're going to do something very strange. I'm going to ask some of you to call in and make some commitments. And we're very serious tonight with business. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm just waiting for a lot more people to come in. So please share quickly, invite your friend, everybody. Everybody needs to come on. They should be nowhere else but here at Caribbean American News Network. Please share quickly, folks. Share quickly so that we can start the program. Remember the number. The number to call is 929-586-1821. That will get you live on the air. It will get you live on the air, all right? So we're going to keep our phone lines open tonight. I just opened up that line on our new software, and we're going to get to work. We are going to get to work. There is no doubt about it. There's a lot of work to be done tonight. Forgive me, I'm just oiling up the mouth so that we can fire on all cylinder. I did not even have time to put on the powder and everything else. We are just going to go natural. We're going to fire off tonight. There's a lot of work. A lot of work, friends. So please share to those of you who are viewing over on our YouTube channel. We are broadcasting in high definition over there on our YouTube. And so we want to thank all our YouTube viewers. By the way, I was looking at the stack over there, and you guys are doing very well on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You guys are subscribing, you're following, you are engaged. I'm looking at all the engagement, even on our Facebook page. It's a new page, and we are doing very well over there. We're almost 10,000 followers, and it is growing nicely, and it shows that people are in support of the broadcast. And if we were to have a vote tonight whether we should close it down or continue, I believe that we would have to continue, because when I look at a Facebook viewership, it is beautiful. You are engaging like you've never before. Don't be afraid to write on the platform. Just write, just type, just put something there, because it registers as this group being active, our page being active. And what Facebook does is that they take this page and they send it out to other viewers from around the world, and so they come on also. So every time you share, you discuss, you comment, you like, and you put up your little faces, your hearts, and everything else, it means a lot to us here on the platform. Remember, we're not getting paid, but those little things help us to feel like we are important. We have your support. We are doing an important task here for the nation of Saint Lucia. Amen. So we're going to fire off tonight. It is 7:12 here in our studio. This is studio number 2. We have 2 studios. And by the way, I'm announcing my daughter is about to start her printing business. She's 7 years old, and we just brought in her printing equipment for mugs, for t-shirts, for caps, name it. She has the equipment here. We just brought in a massive printer, one of those big commercial printers, and my daughter is getting ready. I'm trying to teach her to be productive and don't depend on any system, that she can get to work. From 7 years old, I'm going to engage her in commerce. She got to learn to work. All right. I know she want to be a scientist, whatever she want to be, but you can be a good scientist by making t-shirts, printing t-shirts, and doing something with your hands. Are we together? So her business will be online very shortly. I don't know what happened here. Oh, I kind of mess up. Yes, her business will be on very soon. Okay, so folks, so we're going to get to work right away. Now, many of you would have heard of that situation in the House today with Mr. Shastner. We're going to discuss it in details. Please, we want to have everyone on the platform tonight. Let me ensure that our WhatsApp number is open. Yes, it is 929-586-1821. That will get you on the air. I want everybody to engage. What we're going to do tonight is very important for the Honorable Mr. Shastner. Very important, folks. It is not a joke. Very important. And I would tell you offhand, I had a personal discussion with Mr. Alan Shastner earlier today. Most of you would have seen him in the House. Then you saw him on Newspin with Mr. Timothy. And so as soon as he got off the air, we had a conversation. And I am saying to you folks, the man Alan Shastner, he's not a joke. And he's not to be played with. And I would ask persons to exercise caution in dealing with him. One, he is a human being. Two, he loves his country. Three, he has the drive, he has the skills to be a successful leader. And we must acknowledge that. And I would say to you, Flabos, Mr. Shastner is a human being. And it is only Shastner and Mr. Bradley who sits in the House. There are many other persons in the House who are out for him. Not only government ministers, but you also got to look at the Speaker of the House. Sorry, my flush button came on. But you also got to look at the Speaker of the House, and we'll discuss tonight. All right, we will have an open discussion tonight. And I believe that at the end of this broadcast, we should be able to bring some semblance of, well, there's unity, but I believe that we can help to bring that unity, to collate ourselves together so that we can give Mr. Shastner all the support that he needs. I will tell you this, friends. Mr. Shastner, he's human. He has feelings, and it is very important for Mr. Shastner and his family to know that he has the support of his base, not some, but all United Workers' Party supporters. And listen to me good. This is not a time where you are fighting for a leader. You have a leader. It is very clear based on what is happening around the island of St. Lucia with the UWP, the different branches. It is very clear that you do not have a leadership struggle or a leadership fight at this time. And here is the reason why I am here tonight. This is the reason why I'm here tonight. Now, I waited in the slips to ensure that we do not tilt the democracy of this organization, of this party. And so it is very clear that he is the man for the job. If you do not believe that, you need to believe it today. Why? Because we will look at the clips. We will have a great discussion tonight. It is very important, I was saying, for you, all United Workers' Party, to unite at this time. This is breaking news. Please share the live. Share the live, share the live, share the live. My mic is going all over the place, but share the live. And if you agree with me, I want you to show that support. You know, many times we call people names, Mr. Shastner, Mr. Shastner. We call on some of our social media presenters, oh, you love this one, you love that one. But how do you show your support and your commitment and your love to those persons? Be it myself, be it the other presenters who are out there. How do you show your love? How do you show your support? Have you ever thought of that? There are some people that some of you used to give hundreds of dollars. I'm not saying money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking about support. Here is Mr. Chasney. And I believe sometimes it feels like this man is on, not that he's on his own, but I'm sure when he looks back, that most of the times all he's seeing or hearing is talk. I support, I support, I support. But I'm saying that it is time for there to be not talk unity, but serious unity among the United Workers' Party. You are up against the kingdom of wickedness, deceitfulness, hatred, bitterness. It is time for your support to be shown in action. Forget about the talk. Because I can say I love all year long. I can say I love, and tomorrow I divorce. I can say to Mr. Shas, oh, I love you, shas. But when he really needs you, you know where you are? On your farm, under your house, by the road sitting down, ou pa ale pièce côté. Parler tout seul. And I will tell you, a true flabo is not about talk. A real flabo is a working flabo. Because if you understand the name, the United Workers' Party, you are the united one. And two, you are a worker, not a talker. I'm going to say it again. United and worker. This is not a joke. Mr. Chasney needs to know, and I believe the time is now, that the entire base, those who are opposing him and those who are supporting him, should come together now. There is no need to oppose. The time is now for you to come together. And I'm going to call it out tonight. What will not help Mr. Chasney is within the base, you are fighting each other. That is not going to strengthen him. That is not going to be encouraging him. This guy have an entire government to stand up against, plus the Speaker of the House. And what you do is you stand aside and talk and decide who is flabo and who is not. That is not going to help. Mr. Chasney needs every ounce of support, every ounce of a unified support. Not talk, not distraction. Because if you listen to Mr. Chasney today, and he was asked the question, why are you doing this? You can hear the tears in his voice. Some of you don't pay attention. You get too excited and you miss these fundamental points that need to be highlighted. This man needs the support. And he needs the prayers of all prayer warriors on a daily basis. I know Joycelyn Fletcher and all the others are praying. They are praying. They are standing in the gap for him. They are interceding for him. Just like the song says, I need the prayers of those I love. I say it again. A house divided cannot stand, and a house divided, an army divided cannot go to war. And there is only one man that is taking the blows, taking the beating. And what we do, we turn around on the inside and start beating ourselves when we should be there praying and supporting. Some of us, we are under the lives and we are afraid to talk because we don't want people to see who we are or know that we are supporting the honorable member. Maybe because you have said something against him in the past. It doesn't matter. People change their minds. You're entitled to do that. Maybe you did not support him yesterday, but now you support him. That's a good thing. So for those who are saying, após essa support li, kite se moun la. You cannot win elections with your own base. And the last thing you want to do is to lose 1 or 2 or 3 voters. And I'm saying Mr. Chesney cannot go into elections not having the assurance that he have a safe base behind him. He got beaten badly because the base was not standing 100% behind him. Many of them were trying to protect their jobs. And so he was thrown under the bus. Because nobody want their name to be called. There are some of them who were plotted with the then opposition SLP. They plotted. Mr. Pear could not have come to the house and sat there with confidence that he was going to vote on a vote of no confidence and get some traction. He knew he had some votes from the United Workers' Party in the House. He knew that there were folks there who, in front of Mr. Chesney, would say, I have your back, but yet they're stabbing him in the back. Not everybody who says to you, I have your back, has your back. That could mean 150 things. It could mean they have a knife in your back, a sword in your back, a gun in your back, a hammer in your back. They can have a lot of things in your back. So he went into an election, my friends, not united. Mr. Philip J. Pear and his folks were walking around the house, pampering some of the United Workers' Party leaders. Many of them fell, but they got cold feet and they changed direction. And that's why he stood up in anger, because he knew that there were 1 or 2 more who had agreed that they were going to support a motion of no confidence in him. Some of them can't talk too loud, you know. Why you think many of them are quiet? Why you think that you have none of these former UWP ministers out there on the news standing with Mr. Chesney and saying, look, man, what you guys are doing to this man is wrong? None of them. And you supported them. You gave them your vote. You trusted them with that vote. And now you need their voice, just their voice, sis, and they're like dumb dogs. And I say that Mr. Chesney cannot go into this election with much of those dead weight. He need to select a list of candidates, not those that will actually pledge loyalty to him, but they will pledge loyalty to the party and its mission. We must never lose sight of that. The party and its mission. But I am finished with the ranting for now. But I am calling for national unity behind the honorable member. And you realize I use the word the honorable member. Many of us have lost friendship. Myself, Dr. Fletcher, all the others who are standing up have lost a great deal, but are still standing. Why? Because you must understand your position, believe in something, and stand for that something. Don't move with the wind. Today, you're here, tomorrow you're gone, next week you come back. When the United Workers' Party win, you're here. When the United Workers' Party lose, you're gone, and then you come back, you're jumping like jumping jack. And I mean, what can I say? But I am saying, and let me tell you why I called Mr. Chastney. I had a conversation with Mr. Chastney today. I called Mr. Chastney because some night ago I heard and for the first time, I went over to Richard Frederick's page, Facebook Live. I think it was a Thursday. And I heard him speaking about I think it's the Dyer Mall. I believe that's the name, the Dyer Mall. And he said that the building was sold by Mr. Chastney, and it was a very bad deal. And so I listened to his presentation. He showed one or two signatures. He showed some figures and everything else. He showed one document I saw. And so he tried to convince the folks that Mr. Chastney is a bad guy and he's bad for business. He don't know how to manage anything. After which I went the following day over to KKRR Live, and there I realized that persons were repeating the very same thing. Mr. Chastney sold a building for cheap, and then he turned back and rented for more money from the people that he sold that building for. And I said to myself, but that does not sound right. Something is wrong. And so it bothered my spirit. Not that I question Mr. Chastney and say, well, he did that. That's bad. Because based on what they're presenting, then it sounds really bad. So I listened and, then today on Newspin, something happened. KKRR, he called, and I have no beef with him, He called and he was asking about this deal. $1 million a month rental, the Dyer Mall. And so I was under the live, and Mr. Chastney quickly picked up where he was coming. See, I think I know where he's going. And so Mr. Chastney explained the situation with the Dyer Mall. But a lot of people didn't get clarity to it because some people are sold into certain information. And there, friends, a bell went off in my head. And I said to myself, I got to call Mr. Chastney myself and ask him personally, what was this deal? So I was sitting, I didn't go out. I sat there on my couch and I picked up the phone. And I have not spoken to Mr. Chastney, in a while. And so he answered on the first ring, and I said, wow. Soon as Timothy ended, the show was ended, I called him as soon as he stood up. And I said, Mr. Chastney, Olliver here. And he said, hey, what's up? And I said to him, look, I have some questions that I need you to clarify for me. And I said to him, I was listening to Richard Frederick, and he said that you sold a building, I think for $30 million, and you are renting it back from the same people for $1 million a month for 3 months. So I asked I said, Mr. Chastney, would you want to give me some clarity? He said, sure, why not? And that's why I love him. Because he will answer your call once he's available. And he will take his time and he will explain to you. Brethren, after my call today with him, I just stayed there pondering on what was happening, and I said, So we had a conversation, and I asked him, I said, Mr. Chastney, how do you want to give me the information? Do you want to email me something, or, you want to set up for a live? And then he quickly said, guess what? This is an easy thing. And this man asked whoever it was around him to load on whatever they were doing, And he took his time on the pressure from the government and the Speaker of the House just getting off of Newspin, and he explained that deal for me. Folks, as soon as Mr. Shastney was finished speaking to me today, you know what I did? I said to him, Mr. Shastney, it was a good deal. I could not have said anything else. Because what these guys are going around saying, and you, most of you, should listen. Don't be afraid to listen to those people sometimes. But Mr. Shastney said to me that the first floor of that building was sold. And the deal was that the contractor would have gotten the loan and paid for the renovation of that building, not the government. Not the government. The developer would have gotten a loan and fixed the building to the specification of the government. First floor. So I asked him, I said, so the second floor, it is the government's property? He said, yes. Then he said, not only the second floor, but the third floor is also the government property. Brethren, if you listen to the pundits out there, and I just realized how these guys are dangerous for the country, for St. Lucia and the development. In order to paint Mr. Shastney as a very bad guy, the guy came with a document and showed the top, the bottom, and the center, and said to the people of St. Lucia that Mr. Shastney government sold a building for $30 million and turn around and rent the same building for $1 million a month. And that was not the full story. And I was happy that I was able to get the information, not from anybody else, but from Mr. Shastney himself. And I stand here tonight to say to you, friends, be careful with information that are out there. The information, it is really meant to confuse the masses and to fulfill an evil agenda in destroying the Honorable Alan Shastney. The agenda is clear. And these guys are not making any sports about it. These guys are not joking. This is not a barbecue. These guys are serious. And these guys will use any means in order to stain the political leader to the point where he will want to give up. Because he has a breaking point. He is human. So I say to you folks, stand your ground. Educate yourself. Don't just beat your mouth when you hear things, repeating it. Even when you hear things from the United Workers' Party people, question it. Don't be so gullible. And I learned a great lesson today. Great lesson. And so when I heard KKRR question the honorable leader about it, I called him after Mr. Shastney called me and I said, KKRR, listen, you asked the honorable member a question and I know you want to get the information because you got your information from Richard Frederick. He said, yes, he got it from Richard Frederick. Richard Frederick showed a document stating that Mr. Shastney sold the building. We had a back and forth. I explained to him the deal. And his conclusion to me was, Garfield, Richard Frederick would be biased with his information. Alan Shastney would be biased with information. And so let's just get the document. and not, go around accusing. And I said, but that's the position that we all should take. Try to get the truth, not just listen to a talk show host and go out there assassinating an individual because you believe in your mind. You're trying to put little things together that cannot fit together. And so I said, look, I'm going to get those documents on the deal. It should be a document that the people can read, because it is really the people's property. And I would seek to get that information, and I will have an entire program on that deal. What we cannot do now is to allow untruth to take root in the country. We got to get to work. We must get to work, those of us who have the platforms, and present truth and counteract the errors that are being presented to the people. The time is now. Folks, I say to you, this is not a time for us to be engaging among ourselves. It is time for us to deliberately make deliberate attempts to counteract these errors with the truth. It is time. If you want to give Mr. Shastney that prop, that support, holding the man's hands up, you got to hold his hands up in counteracting error, lest it take root in the society, and then you will have a hill to climb come elections in order to convince the people that it was a lie. The time is now. As I said to you, you have the wind on your side. Get involved. And I'm going to ask persons with information, give us the information. Don't allow us to come on these platforms and just shout and scream and talk. Give us the information. Let us go on the attack. We will take the front. Listen to me, they say I have nothing to lose. Listen to me, this is about nation building. This is about my family, your family in the country. Later on, you can say thank you very much. But for now, we don't have time for thank you and greetings. Now you are on the battlefield. You've got to understand this fight. The fight is for the mind. And so the policy there in this fight is that you put out a lie, you bamboozle those people, you confuse them, you intimidate them that they will be afraid to speak. And so what they will do is that they go in their shells and they're afraid, and they say to Mr. Shastney, you go and fight. He's a human being. All of us must get involved. And I'm saying it again, for those of you who are in the hierarchies of the party, of influence, it is time to pass the information on to grassroots movements like myself. Pass it on. Send us the information, engage us, so that when we speak, we do not have to come and say, sorry, I made a mistake. Don't leave us out there in the dark. Don't turn your back on us and believe that you can do it on your own. No, you can't do it on your own. The Labour Party had the entire social media network covered for 4 years, 5 years. You had not much. You had Norbert fighting. Who else did you have? Now you have voices out there that are not afraid. Voices. Yes, these voices are feeble and defective and make mistakes and error. But those voices are your voices. Use them or you will lose them. Use them. And then you have Sky FM, Work with them. Get training. Teach them how to present, get the facts and present it. Have special training courses. Organize it for them. If you got to pay for champagne to go overseas to a 1 month course so that he can understand broadcasting, send him out. Invest. It is time to get to work. Don't leave your soldiers, especially your frontline soldier, Mr. Shastney, alone. Let's get to work. Reverend, I have some of you today talking about, and by the way, Sasho lost everything in her house, and I heard it's just a few people from the UWP who reached out to her. So I'm saying to you all, reach out to her. She's your soldier. You all come together and help her. You all have been giving money to everybody else, and I'm speaking to everybody. The woman is in need of help. She's your soldier. Why can't we come together and get her back her doors and get her back her windows and get her into her house? Why can't we come together? You got to learn how to respect and protect your soldiers. You got to learn how to give support to your soldiers. You got to learn the act. You look at the SLP. They support their people. If that was an SLP, if Shasa was an SLP, all of them would have come with a camera and finished that house for her. Sky FM need equipment. Sky FM need support, and I promised them that when I come down shortly, that I would see how best I can help to help them with their broadcast. But until then, all of us just sit back with our resources, hiding just for a few. When you have frontliners who are out there, beating the air. Shaso lost everything. And at least some of us can give her a call. Some of you can give her a call. And if you don't have money, pray with her. Give her some support. Sometimes she's depressed. Sometimes she can't even get out of her own bed. Sometimes she can't even function because she has lost everything. It is time to come together. And I will declare tonight that everyone under the sound of my voice, you are a UWP. Whether you supported Shastner yesterday or you support him today, you are a United Workers' Party supporter. Get on board. Get to work. Unite. Don't leave your soldier in the dark. And when he gets tired and he gave up, then all of you turn your backs on him. He was a coward. He was weak. He was not one of us. Some of you will say he was not one of us. Show him that support. Stand with him. And don't regret losing him. Stand now. And don't be afraid. You have prayer warriors on your side. And I represent the Christian base of the United Workers' Party. Yes, I said it. I am the representative of the Christian base. And any weapon formed against us will not prosper. And any tongue that rises up against us falsely shall be condemned. So I say to you, stand up, get some backbone, you jellyfish supporters, get some backbone. Speak in the churches, speak at the cemeteries, speak by the sea, speak by the Daito, speak on the bus, speak on the taxi, speak in the government institution, speak on the lines in the bank. Stand up, let your voices be heard. And stop being a bunch of cowards. Like you don't understand what you believe in. Like you don't understand the policies and the vision of your party. But I'm sure you understand Roro. Who sleep with this one man, who this and who that. You love that. You major in that. But that's not going to help Mr. Shastney. And I say that to you tonight. And he's more honorable to me tonight. He's more honorable to me tonight. More honorable. A double honorable tonight. Because he answered my call at that first, and that was spiritual. He answered my call at the first call. And he answered my questions. He's more honorable tonight than honorable can be honorable, if that's a term. Y'all start something. Start something for Sasho. Don't leave her in the dark. You will lose her. She will be discouraged. She will not feel like her party is with her. So you all come together, folks. Have barbecues. Do something for her. She's one of your favorite supporters. Do something for the woman, folks. Different branches. If all of you come together, y'all can help her. She can get in her house and she can be happy, where she can put her yellow t-shirt and jump behind you all with placards. Make her feel happy, the man. Anyway, I'm not going to say much on that again, but you all help her. Yeah, man, help her. She's part of the group, man. She's family. Go to Jamaica, she is family. Yeah. So let's go down memory lane. Let's go down memory lane. I don't know where to start. Let's go down memory lane. All right? So here is the opposition walking out of the House. And this is a clip by MBC Miguel. All right? Flavor here.
Shot is not new for the St. Lucia Labour Party while in opposition. And on Tuesday, during a marathon sitting, the opposition led by Philip J. Pierre walked out again due to their dissatisfaction with the behavior of one government parliamentarian. There were two items up for debate Tuesday, March 10th. A motion seeking to authorize the Prime Minister to borrow $20 million to finance another phase of the St. Jude reconstruction, and the other, amendments to the Alien Landholders Licensing Act. The debate over the latter began at about midnight, where the government sought to have the bill go through all its stages, then passed. Castries South MP Dr. Ernest Hilaire stood on a point of order, requesting that the government reconsider this move to make way for more public scrutiny of the bill, because it is very important, Philip J. Pierre says.
The government refused, citing the fact that the bill had gone to the Bar Association before. But we thought, we had information that the Bar Association still had queries, even if they had seen it. And it's not such an important bill. There was no haste in that the government should have allowed the public, the press probably, to have a look at the bill before. And to put that bill for all the stages was...
Now, folks, I want you to listen, because most of your government ministers are a bunch of hypocrites. Most of them. And I want you to listen carefully. A bunch of hypocrites. Here is Mr. Pierre saying, look, there is a bill that was presented and it was not placed for the people to see it, or for the people of St. Lucia to get involved. But here today, instead of delaying the CCJ and dealing with more important matters, they are bulldozing their way through the House in order to pass this CCJ. But here is Mr. Pierre speaking about consulting.
Have a look at the bill before. And to put that bill for all the stages was, we thought it was wrong.
The Castries South MP's suggestion was voted down, and the debate continued. But there was meaningful exchange between the opposing sides.
Actually, intelligent, sober exchange. The Prime Minister gave some explanations. The Prime Minister gave some explanations. And it was a good session of Parliament. I rose to speak about the philosophical implication of the bill. Because what the bill seeks to do, it seeks basically to allow the CIP board, a committee of the CIP board, to issue licenses for foreigners to buy land. And I raised the issue that land is not an infinite resource.
The opposition leader's argument is that governments need to be careful of allowing too many foreign nationals to purchase land at the expense of opportunities for St. Lucians. And Pierre reiterated, all was well until...
Up came the Minister for Economic Affairs, and as usual, he leaves no stone unturned to try to make cheap political mileage on important points. And here's what he wrote. Here's what he brought up. Some comfort letter that was written years ago to an investor. And truth is, that comfort letter never came to light because it never happened. No licenses were issued, the investment fell through when this government came into power. Nothing happened. So to bring up that letter shows you how this minister in particular and this government generally, they leave no stone unturned when it comes to playing politics with important issues.
The letter in question is the letter of comfort, informally dubbed the Ainsworth letter, a confidential missive from then Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony to Robert Ainsworth of Equator Lands Limited concerning the development of hundreds of acres of land on the island's east. But the politics aside, we asked the opposition leader, what does citizenship by investment have to do with granting foreigners licenses to purchase land?
These are the questions we were asking, because somebody may want to buy land and they do not need a passport. That was where the discussion was leading.
In fact, the Alien Landholding Licensing Bill gives power to a select committee of the CIP's board to grant licenses. Outside the office of the leader of the opposition on High Street, I am Miguel Favre.
Okay, so that's one of them. Yes, we're going to play every one of them tonight. And as soon as I play them, I'm cutting them off. Straight off my system. Let's go. Next one. Play.
Said to me a few days ago, and on the other paper, there was a motion by the member for Castries South. Just on the point of clarification, I have an other paper this morning, and the motion has disappeared. Is that an error?
Honourable members, as you all were aware, there was a previous order paper circulated on which was a motion which was supposed to have been presented by the Honourable Member for Castries South. I wish to say that there has been amendments to the order paper. As you can see, the paper was amended, and I wish to inform members that I have communicated to the Honourable Member for Castries South formally and on this matter, and perhaps I need to inform that I am in receipt of a letter requesting from the Honourable Prime Minister and Member for Mico South, requesting that the motion be deferred to a later date, requiring some time. And I have indicated to the Honourable Member formally,
Let's bear with us,
and
folks.
I wish to inform all members, a request that has been acquiesced to, and I have granted the Honourable Member. I've actually acquiesced to the request of the Honourable Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker, if you are not going to allow me to address the question you gave me, I will not yield to you.
Madam Speaker, a point of
Madam
order.
Speaker, we shall leave this House.
These were the order of events which resulted in opposition members walking out during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Parliament. At a press conference held later that day, the St. Lucia Labour Party representatives explained the reason for their actions. Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, explains that it was due to the removal of a motion to negative changes to the citizenship by investment program.
Okay, so there you have the opposition then under the SLP walking out of the House. Now, I'm saying to you that these guys are a bunch of hypocrites. Why? You know what they said to Mr. Shastney when he walked out? Oh, you're disrespecting the children. Look at the children up there. You have no respect for them. You never respected us. You never respected us. You're disrespectful. All of the opposition at the time walked out of the House in protest. Folks, I hope you understand what I'm saying. All of them, Tutmun, everybody.
during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Parliament.
A motion that was duly put forward to Parliament, all the notice was given, etc. And this morning only, we were told a few seconds before the Parliament that the motion would be struck off because the Prime Minister didn't have time. Now, the law says that the Prime Minister must have, the law says it's 6 clear days, and that was given. All the items on the other paper, 6 clear days were given for discussion. But this morning, the Prime Minister, in his own deliberate and dictatorial judgment, decided that he'd take it off the other paper.
According to the...
So, they walked out. All right? They walked out of the House. Okay, I'm just going to be playing clips tonight. Let me just play another one, and then we'll take you back to what happened today. All right?
Items: agriculture and health. And in the case of the latter, the SLP's point man on health, VA4 North MP Moses Jean-Baptiste, noted the series of events following the WHO's declaration of the coronavirus as an international health emergency. Of concern to the former agriculture minister is the fact that a number of countries have closed their borders with China and have as well imposed travel bans and restrictions on individuals traveling from there. Even Singapore and Indonesia, who depend heavily on tourism from China, but St. Lucia hasn't, at least not in a timely manner. His contention is that St. Lucia took such action days after her regional and international counterparts. Shabati says the lack of leadership from the Prime and Health Ministers amid the crisis is, quote, obvious and disturbing.
I was at home and immediately I saw the Minister for Health from Antigua. I saw the other calling press conferences. I saw Jamaica. And I was like, wow. And it took days and days. We did not hear from our Minister for Health. And today we are hearing that Chinese nationals actually landed in St. Lucia after that outbreak. And we are learning that it's because of an...
So they're always learning something when they're in opposition. But this same health minister today, he's the health minister today, there was a spike in virus on the island. People were being affected. They stopped counting the corona death. They stopped reporting coronaviruses. He's the minister now, Mr. Baptiste. Not a word, not a word, not a word. You just heard the CMO came out some time ago. But not a word. Crime, not a word. Not a word from the minister responsible. Not a word. But in opposition, all the answers. Government they can't work out the answers. You say, not a word from Mary Isaac. A coronavirus that was new on the scene and everybody was just learning how to manage, how to deal, what to do. A government that behind the scenes were working the phones and working with the international counterparts to figure out what is going on. But he has no patience. Not a word, he said. He himself did not know what the coronavirus was at the time. But his prime minister said, no, we have to look at the science. So people have to wait for the science after they're dead. Then when they figure it out, then they would say something. But we can't talk about the hypocrisy. Let's listen to him for 1 minute, all right?
So the question is, all St. Lucians should be worried about this. Did the government of St. Lucia deliberately delay the announcement? Deliberately to allow their friends who are connected to a proposed horse race in St. Lucia to be in St. Lucia? And are these people in St. Lucia?
The question should be, did the government of St. Lucia spend money in private carnival bands?
The opposition leader says an SLP administration's reaction to a possible coronavirus threat would be immediate.
We'd have done two things. We'd have contacted our CARICOM neighbors to find out what is the position. We believe in joint action by CARICOM, and we would have listened political considerations would be non-existent. We would have listened to the health professionals and then exactly what the health professionals say to.
What about the crime professionals? What are they saying? Now that is in opposition, you know, these guys are talking. Huh? What are the professionals saying on the CCJ? What are the professionals saying on St. Jude Hospital and the airport and our roads? What are the professionals saying about the potholes all over the island? What, the professionals are not, what? They fall through the potholes? Where are the professionals? When during a march by your government, by your opposition then, created a health disaster for the government of the day because you went out and you protest. Did you not get any information from the professionals, Mr. Scientist? I'm just asking the questions. You guys curse off the CMO. You curse the devil out of her. You demonize her. Because she was in the news every day, every minute, every second. We had the information. We were given information by the hour, by the minute. People were not left in the dark except you guys. So while the professionals were speaking, you guys were busy politicking. And in the meantime, we buried hundreds of our people that should have been alive. Your minister said, well, the people need Netflix. You think you can leave them in their homes? You all are abusing the coronavirus and you all are keeping us hostage. Set us free. And you went and you marched, and afterwards we had no deaths. And after that march, all fall down for the people of St. Lucia. But no, there were no professionals saying anything. You did not consult with any professional. Let's go over.
Our party believes in evidence-based decision-making, not speculation. There's too much speculation in St. Lucia.
You speculated and you said that St. Lucia was the worst prepared when your minister, Sean Edwards, said that St. Lucia was very ahead of the game. So I'm confused.
That is what our party is involved in.
But the opposition was asked, are the policymakers to blame in this case or the technocrats?
As I've said before, the blame lies squarely on the shoulders of the Prime Minister.
Good. So the blame, Mr. Moses, lie now with the crime on your Prime Minister. Huh? What about us saying that? That the blame lies with your Prime Minister, who is saying nothing really on crime. How about that? But let's continue.
God forbid, if it is true that Chinese nationals are here, and if, God forbid, that there's an outbreak of coronavirus in St. Lucia, who will you blame? Will you blame the doctors? Will you blame the chief medical officer? No. The chief medical officer and the doctors are...
Good. So if there's a spike in crime on the island, who do you blame? The police? The nurses? The doctors? The pastors? Who do you blame? No, the Prime Minister. So let's continue. I'm repeating your own words.
And the doctors are the technical individuals who are advising us. I listen to the CMO, the advice and so on, the protocols. But it is the politicians who allow, if it is true, it is the politicians who delayed. So what is so different with Antigua and Jamaica? That immediately...
So wait, so he don't have information. So he's saying if it is true, why would you come in a press conference with information that is not verified and then you were saying if it was true, Mr. Scientist?
For health were out there advocating and ensuring that the safety of the population is the responsibility of the politicians.
Good, but this politician went with his group protesting in the middle of Corona, this politician was not concerned about the people, went into Soufrière on a boat with all his groups to push a police officer, push their hands in a police officer face to trespass on people's property, went up to Margie's place in Grosile and singing Jack Don't Want Me to Bathe on the Beach in large groups with no mask. And let me say something, the politicians was not protecting anybody. Bunch of hypocrites. Let's listen to those hypocrites again and tell me don't call them out. I'm firing.
Horse races, we understand, have been slated to coincide with St. Lucia's 41st independence celebrations. Miguel Favre, NBC Prawn.
No, Miguel, I want to hear something again. I want to hear if the minister really said what he said.
They're advocating and ensuring that the safety of the population is the responsibility of the politicians.
Horse races, we understand, have been slated to coincide with St. Lucia's 41st independence.
Now they jump on horse from Corona to horse. Folks, I'm just trying to expose, and this is the same Joe Baptiste who is casting remarks to Mr. Alan Chastney saying he's disrespectful, he never respected. You never respected the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Musa. You are a failed minister of agriculture, one. And two, I don't understand. Did you protect the people of St. Lucia or did you respect the people of St. Lucia? When you went carelessly during Corona, marching and on the beach, Jack Don't Want Me to Bathe on the beach, pushing police officers, having march rallies all over the place, mass crowd event with no mask. You guys did not believe that there was Corona. You thought that the Prime Minister then, Mr. Chastney, was just trying to delay the elections so that he don't take you guys into election. You guys were so power hungry at the time, you could not wait for the end of the coronavirus. You said, call the elections now, call the elections now. Were you concerned about the people or yourself? Don't come on this platform and talk nonsense. And I always thank Norbert for that flush button that he willed to me. It got to be used so often now. Because most of what you're hearing, it is garbage. Now, let's go over to Mr. King. I know some of you can't stand Mr. King, but please, tonight, just give us some time. Let's develop our presentation tonight. And then Uno can, y'all can call me, y'all can say what you all have to say. But just give me some time. I'm developing this broadcast tonight. Let's go to Mr. Heavy Roller.
Minister King, he received a less than encouraging response from the opposition in the quest to fight crime on the island.
My government was falsely accused of trying to make political hay out of the people's misery. Our efforts at establishing a united front against the criminals in our midst were conveniently misconstrued as tricks designed to deny the opposition its best opportunity to criticize the government's performance come election.
In addressing the several criminal activities that had taken place over the past few months, Prime Minister King said the situation had reached intolerable levels. He says government took the bulls by the horns in curbing the problem.
My colleagues on the other side simply did not seem to get that when it comes to fighting crime, there can be no half measures. Either you make yourself part of the solution or you risk being part of the problem. The war against crime leaves no room for political gains. It demands that all partisan notions be set aside in the best interest of the nation.
Prime Minister.
Well, I'm not even going to listen to that because some of you getting irritated. So I don't want you all to get upset. So I use wisdom and I just remove that right away because right now he's in the same room with the same people that he was talking about who had no respect for him or his administration, the same people who is saying something different now. And he's quiet, by the way. You don't hear him much, you know. No, you don't hear him much. You know, they don't trust him. They don't trust him. You don't hear him much. Same people. Membag Island, nothing new under the sun. Nothing has changed.
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Well, ma'am. Since when that's your rule, my rule? Well, ma'am, I mean, don't upset my people. Let me see if I have one more clip. Let's go to Mr. Shastner today. Let's go into the House. And we're going to remind Mr. Speaker one or two things tonight. All right? So let's go over to the House. Bear with me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would say to you that, Mr. Speaker, one of the things that was very noticeable this morning, which seems to be a continuation of policy, strategy, misunderstanding, don't know. Just celebrated our 44th independence. And unprecedentedly, never in the history of this country, Mr. Speaker, 4 people were killed. One person, sadly, by a traffic accident. And since that, we have not received one report from this government. As this is business as usual. Nobody has said a word. Opening opportunity today, Mr. Speaker. We'd have thought we'd have heard from one of the 2 ministers of security. One of them.
Mr. Speaker, the member is misleading the House. Yes, he's misleading the House, Mr. Speaker. No. He is misleading the House. As usual, there is only one Minister of National Security. He is misleading the House, and he must cease from doing that. There is only one Minister of National Security.
Mr. Speaker, we have a Minister of National Security and the Prime Minister, and we have a Minister of Home Affairs. At the end of the day, 2 ministers, and we have not responded.
Get back to the subject, COVID-19.
Mr. Speaker, I see there are people taking up your role. So, Mr. Speaker, I felt it was important.
Now, wait. Folks, honestly, I am getting so upset just watching what took place leading up to Mr. Shastner walking out of that house. I am listening. I have the earpiece in my ear. And I am hearing people heckling, disrespecting, shouting, talking back at Mr. Shastner. And the Speaker of the House sits there and permit it. The Speaker of the House, remember, sat there and permitted the interruption or interruptions by all these ministers, every one of them. It is clear that these guys have absolutely no respect for the opposition leader. But the Speaker said nothing. The Speaker did not protect the Honorable Alan Shastner in the House, and it is very clear. Tomorrow morning, he's going to say to you, oh, I didn't hear, I didn't see, when Mr. RF cursed obscene language in the House. The Speaker said the following day he did not hear, and nothing was done. Here again, the Honorable Alan Shastner was disrespected today, heckled in his presentation. No protection for the honorable member. And I'm going to tell you why he was not protected. But let's go forward to the clip.
Important to be able to say that because we got an opportunity for ministers' reports, and something as important as that opportunity was not taken. Now, Mr. Speaker, we have a situation where we're borrowing $5 million US, and I'm glad that the Minister of Finance, I see you like to be on the track. Then just open up DSH and you can be back on track. So, Mr. Speaker, $5 million US, which is about just over $11 million EC, Mr. Speaker. And I'm glad that the Minister of Finance pointed out that the economic changes in the world, that some of the concessional funds that we would have normally gotten at substantially lower interest rates, that those interest rates are going up, which means that we have to be extremely mindful of the amount of money that we're borrowing. I'm happy to hear the member from Labrie give us a piece of information that 1 year has gone by, Mr. Speaker. Even though we passed the new Financial Management Act, and there's a requirement for there to be update reports on what's taking place in the economy. Who in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, knows what the unemployment rate is? Who knows what the amount of borrowing that we've had? Who knows what the economic growth is? Who knows? We've been told nothing, Mr. Speaker. And again, we have members on the other side, Mr. Speaker, who seem to want to use the word and the term evidence-based. Everything is leave it to the science. I see now we're leaving the potholes to science. That's how we've gotten to now. We're going to fix potholes by using the science. And now, we want to talk about the evidence, but we just want to use it as a term, and we don't want to substantiate it in any way. So let me bring up the evidence, Mr. Speaker, because the member from Labrie also made mention of the mismanagement by my administration over COVID. From the time of the beginning of COVID until the elections, Mr. Speaker, there were 85 deaths and 5,529 cases. And I want to put that in perspective. When we got COVID, Mr. Speaker, none of us understood what COVID was. And therefore, like the rest of the world, we were in the dark, and we were implementing policies and strategies to protect people's lives. And then it became very clear, Mr. Speaker, very quickly, that we had to also now include livelihoods. The option of St. Lucia remaining shut down, like many other parts of the world, we did not have the reserves of cash, Mr. Speaker, to be able to do that. Excuse me? You know, Mr. Speaker, can I respond, Mr. Speaker? I don't want to go off track here, but I want to bring the floor is mine. Thank you. There's this fallacy that the government keeps on portraying that somehow the investment in DSH came at the financial expense of the state. They have been in government for over 18 months. Now, in fact, I'm in court, Mr. Speaker, with one of the members over allegations that he made that DSH was using CIP funds to fund their program. Up until now, it's not happened. You proved nothing. You said, Mr. Speaker, the member from Castries Central said publicly.
Member from Miku South, there is a motion before you, and I would hope that your contribution can at least, even if a fleeting glance, touch that motion. You are straying on a tangent that I can't allow you to proceed on. Please keep to the motion.
Boy, Mr. Speaker, only if you would have followed your own advice. Mr. Speaker, the members had indicated that DSH used funds from CIP. They indicated...
Member for Miku South, what is the relevance of the funds for DSH with the motion before you?
Mr. Speaker, members on the other side alleged that we mismanaged the economy during the COVID period. Members also indicated that we had our priorities wrong and we put horses before hospitals. So in many ways, and that's why I asked you, Mr. Speaker, they admit that, and I'm asking to respond to that. May I have your permission, Mr. Speaker, to respond to that?
That was stated in the debate this morning?
Correct, right there. The member from Labrie said that we mismanaged the resources. And other members now just said that we put horses before hospitals.
Prime Minister, but are you now making asides official part of the record?
I asked you, Mr. Speaker.
And did I respond?
Very well, Mr. Speaker. Again, we're going to want to avoid the truth. Here we are, one person in the House, and you're not giving me any liberty. I'm going to have to respond to 15 people, but you know, the young people here to see for themselves
please,
what the democracy of
member from Microsoft, when I'm speaking, you take your seat. You don't speak together with me. Be careful, member for Castries Central. Be careful, member for Mico South, with your allegations against the chair. Please be very careful. Proceed, please.
Mr. Speaker, my allegations against the chair were taken to the court, and therefore I allowed an independent entity to determine who was right and who was wrong. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that we had, in a period in which we did not know what the science was, a period in which we were awoken one day where all of the air flights to St. Lucia stopped. Air traffic globally stopped. Any international trade, everything came to a grinding halt. And government's revenue went from $110 million a month to $55 million a month, Mr. Speaker. We did not have enough respirators in this country. We did not have a dedicated respiratory center. The Prime Minister alluded to it, where we had to use hotels in order to create quarantines and to create new protocols that did not exist. And I'm proud of the fact, Mr. Speaker, that many of the countries in the Caribbean look to St. Lucia protocols in order to be implemented. And what's the reality? Because let's talk about the evidence base. Let's talk about the evidence base. In an 18-month period of time, with the unknown, with no resources, and having to go through everything for the first time, we ended up having, sadly, 85 deaths and 5,529 cases, Mr. Speaker, in 18 months. In an era of unknown, uncertainty, nothing. And at the same time, we reopened the economy, Mr. Speaker, because we knew that there was monies that we could not provide to the people of St. Lucia. And we found a safe way to protect people's lives and protect people's livelihoods. And as a result of that, Mr. Speaker, many of the hotels were able to reopen, and many of the staff members got their jobs back, and many of the farmers were able to supply stuff to them, and many of the taxi drivers were able to stay in business, and some of the tours, Mr. Speaker, were able to reopen. So much so, Mr. Speaker, so much so, that by 2022, that we had more U.S. arrivals in St. Lucia than we ever had in the history of St. Lucia. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you go and look at the statistics with Barbados, that is normally substantially more arrivals than St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. We had more U.S. arrivals, 155,000, than Barbados had total arrivals of 144,000. We had 200,000 arrivals. And as a result of that, Mr. Speaker, and the combination of the foresightedness to be able to expedite construction projects, we were able to see a 12.5% recovery in the economy. 12.5%. The same Barbados had 1.5%. The same Barbados had 1.5%. St. Lucia was the second fastest growing economy in CARICOM, only behind Guyana. And Guyana never suffered, but Guyana had the benefit of now opening up an entire new industry, which is the oil industry. The closest economy to St. Lucia was Dominica at 6%. Now let's make the comparison. Let's just follow the science. In the last 18 months, we've had 327 deaths. We've had 24,000 cases. You talk about a government that cares, a government that has the creativity and the capacity to be able to manage both things. We're seeing it over and over again, Mr. Speaker. This government is lost. Whether it's agriculture, whether it's the roads, whether it's tourism. You know, Mr. Speaker, it's amazing to me the number of things that they keep saying. How is it, again, How is it again? Okay, Mr. Speaker? That Carnival Cruise Lines is not coming to St. Lucia and not a word. Why? Why are they not coming to St. Lucia? Why are they going to everywhere else in the Caribbean? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, Mr. Speaker, in terms of managing COVID, the ability to access funds at a concessional basis to rehabilitate Victoria Hospital and make it into a respiratory center. But that came at having to expedite the opening of OKEU. So it means we had to run 2 hospitals. In fact, the cost of running Victoria was very little different than what the cost was as a respiratory center or even as a hospital. The Coast Guard, the Marine Police, Mr. Speaker, who were trying to protect our borders. We were burning through engines 2-3 times faster than we had before. The fuel that was being burned, the overtime that was being created, the extra staff for security, the extra staff in terms of bringing and picking up people at their homes. The cost, Mr. Speaker, of allowing St. Lucians to return home where we provided the quarantine area for them. We fed them. We provided security for them. All those expenses were being incurred by the state. Even when we had NIC, Mr. Speaker, NIC was not designed to pay people for a loss of income during a situation like this. We had to find a creative way, and I was very glad that the NIC board cooperated with us, in order to at least provide some money for some of the persons who had been making contributions for a longer period of time. But in a large part, St. Lucians had to bear that burden. And this is why, Mr. Speaker, that you would have expected that a government that says that they care, a government that tries to convince us that they're putting us first or not making us worse, that now want to talk about the evidence of COVID. That's the hypocrisy that I can't understand. Who is the government that went and had a march on October of 2020? After we've been through all the things that we went through, Mr. Speaker, all of the things we went through, they saw no problem. Go and have a march. Up until the march, Mr. Speaker, we had 28 cases and no deaths. Understand that. 28 cases and no deaths up until the period of the march. And these responsible people, these people who care, these people who follow the science, these people who want evidence-based decisions, took it upon themselves to go and march. Okay, Mr. Speaker? Sorry? Mr. Speaker, is he speaking to me? If you don't want me to respond, Mr. Speaker, please ask them to let me be heard in silence. Please. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, either you're going to allow me to respond to the rebutting or stop the rebutting.
Member, no, what? It's either you listen to me or you don't speak.
Mr. Speaker,
these are the rules.
We've affirmed that this is your house. This is not being done objectively.
Member, let's not debate.
Do as you please, Mr. Speaker.
Do not debate with me, member.
You cannot come and tell me on.
No, member.
How am I supposed to trust
member,
Mr. Speaker?
Member, you do not debate with me. And if you proceed to debate with me, I will ask you to take your seat. Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I'm asking you to provide with me the protection that you're supposed to be protecting me.
Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
If you want me to be able to speak and not respond, ask them to listen to me.
Member, I'm asking you for the final time to continue. If you do not wish to continue, you shall take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I'm simply asking
for your protection. Member, please take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, please.
Please take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to do a step better, okay? Mr. Speaker, I have lost all confidence in you as the Speaker.
Member,
I'm surprised to see that you're here, Mr. Speaker, okay? And if in fact, that this is going to continue, and one person representing the opposition, and I want to remind all of you that, one person representing the opposition to be able to speak, and y'all don't want to allow that person to speak, shame on y'all. But that's okay. I will leave y'all to the people of St. Lucia. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Dead weight.
Member for Miku South.
You never had respect for us. You never had respect for us. Never. You never respected our people. You never respected us. Look at the children of them. Look at your behavior.
Members, please. Members.
What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of the debate. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
My people, I don't know what to say, but I'll try to say something. I can say a lot of things, but let me show you the problem here, right? With Mr. Speaker. You see, Mr. Speaker was embarrassed by Mr. Chasney. Stick with me. Watch this space. Pay attention to what I'm saying to you. So Mr. Speaker was embarrassed by Mr. Chasney, was taken to court, he lost the case. Now they got to pay $75,000. So all Mr. Speaker friends, they're laughing at him. They're jabbing him, giving him little jokes, telling him, gasa shasfau gasa ukite shasfau sa. So he came today with his intention to fix Mr. Chasney. Yeah? And so if you look at Mr. Chasney, well, let me go the tie Chasney. Mr. Chasney pull out one end of the tie, have it on one side. According say, one man have all these guys tie up in a knot. Even the speaker, guys, you all observed what took place. Mr. Chasney requested protection from the speaker. The speaker was enjoying more of what the Labour Party fellows were doing to Chasney than anything else. The man was not sleeping. He's normally sleeping. That time, the speaker was wide awake, licking his chops, enjoying the back and forth between every one of the members of the House. Mr. Chasney skillfully jabbed the speaker. He said, Mr. Speaker, I took you to court and we dealt with that outside already, so don't worry about it. Mr. Chasney jabbed him, reminded him that you have $75,000 to pay. Basically, that's what he did. He said, I took you to court. Speaker, at that point, Speaker, si mi siete sa peace, when dem mi say the pampas a lie because moi think I peace a moi because fashion mo de kai fashion ko ha. Speaker même te fâché tellement ek Chasney même ne ti smile le fi jali. Just cave Mr. Speaker. But I have an announcement. Me say it last week. I have an announcement. I believe it's next month. There will be a dental ship, U.S. dental ship, coming into St. Lucia. Those of you who need dentures, you need your teeth straightened out. This is a public announcement that I'm doing free. So, I'm going to say it again. There is a dental ship coming to Castries, Port Castries, very close to the government buildings. Those who need dentures, you're missing 2 teeth, 3 teeth, teeth crooked, koshi, crooked upside down on one side, asugege, asukote. The ship will straighten it out for free. You don't need insurance. All you need to do, St. Lucians, is to go to your local clinic and they will do an assessment and they will get you on the ship. Mahaf siyo ka servi canoe, helicopter mahaf sayo ka servi. But I am making this public announcement for all St. Lucians who have teething problems to go to the American ship so that you don't need visa. So everybody can go. If you lose your visa, you can go to the ship still because it's on St. Lucian water. See, visa revoke, power recall. The U.S. won't do you nothing. You can go on the ship. That's the first place that you can go without visa, on the U.S. ship. So when you go in there, just pretend like you're in New York. I'm going to say it again. Pretend like you are in New York when you go on the dental ship, especially super on a visa. All right? But let me just go back to the house setting. Brethren, that was a commercial break for your dental appointment. Okay? Good. I don't know why you're all laughing like that, but si muna pa de pay mo pou fe advertisement sa.
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
By the way, Lani Monsieur Arella said that is like I went to you one time. You had the US, we the US, do the guy is really VT and so look I went to one time. Look where you got tea and so you got with this. Anyway, let's go forward, folks. Let's go forward. Y'all people, y'all flowers smart. Y'all like excitement. But let me go back to this story. So Mr. Speaker was upset that he was taken to court. And by the way, the Speaker of the House advised himself, even though his friends were saying to him, leave Mr. Shastney alone. What you're doing, it is wrong. He went ahead and he did what he did. And the man hired 2 lawyers. So right now there are 3 lawyers to be paid. That in itself would go above $100 and something thousand. 2 lawyers versus 1. You see how bad Mr. Shastney is? Mr. Shastney mem 1 lawyer. Gouvernement, they lawyer. So if 1 lawyer is, let's say $50,000, $100,000. Ou paray fache? But guess what? Mr. Shastney had already made his statements. And he did exactly what he should have done. Get out of that confusion immediately. And you saw what happened. The Speaker was having a field day. And not only that, you know, they invited their friends. Sir Barron, the judge, was there sitting. The old man behind by the Speaker there. Yes, that's the judge from the CCJ. They brought in from the CCJ. All them big boys were there sitting, and what they were actually doing was showing off. And I'll tell you why it was a show off by the Speaker. The Speaker was showing off himself because he was embarrassed. And here you have legal minds. You have judges, retired judges. So there's this Byron there. And you embarrassed me some months ago. Now I have to pay $75. Look, the judges here. And you standing in the house. Man, I'm going to fix you in front of them. So he was just flexing his elastic muscles. I don't know if you all ever see these old men, very old men. I'm not laughing at them. Eko wear ti muscle you can hang one side. Me see him ka flex ti elastic muscles because he saw those guys there. He saw them there. How do I know that? Before the House sitting today, this morning, there was a post uploaded to the Prime Minister's Facebook page with the Speaker of the House sitting, taking pictures in the House with the representatives, the legal folks. He was sitting there. Go to the Prime Minister's page when you're finished. This is what I do. I make my assessments. I go from one page to the other and I come to my conclusions. That's what you've got to do. And so he, Mr. Speaker, was sitting like he's a judge. He's a judge. He's a lawyer. Huh? So he was just flexing himself. But what he did was to embarrass the nation. Because one, $75,000 you had to pay, plus the other two lawyers. Then the Prime Minister was in his, Mr. Alan Shastney was in his right. He was begging for protection. He was begging, pleading, Mr. Speaker, please help me. I want to speak in silence. The Speaker stood there and embarrassed tried to embarrass Mr. Shastney by saying to him, listen to me. You will speak when don't speak when I'm speaking, flexing your muscles. But your time is short, Mr. Speaker. Because 5 years is not $75,000. Remember that. And remember that history will judge you harshly. Because I have never seen a Speaker of the House like you before, and that's the truth. I have never seen a Speaker of the House like you. Sir, you will go down as the worst. There might be worse to come, but you will be the worserer. Because you would have set a record that nobody else can reach. Go to court having to pay $75,000? Huh? Come on, folks. So he's just upset with the whole thing and trying to flex himself. It was nothing about a personal thing with Mr. Shastney and the Speaker. Don't worry with him. Y'all don't worry with him. And so Mr. Shastney even did well because he went over to Timothy's program and he spoke. He got the time without interruptions. And he spoke to the people. In other words, he was on the people's radio. In the people's house. And he spoke. And thank God I was able to speak to him as soon as he got out of the station and got clarity to some questions that I had. So y'all don't worry about anything. The only problem is that as a human being, you can take as much, you have a limit. I'm afraid that Mr. Shastney has a limit. And he might be at that place. And that's why I ask you, the people, it is time for you to rally. It's time to rally. It's time to get to work. And why you have to get to work is because just look at the House. And there's going to be more drama in the Senate. But look at the House. And if you don't feel the urgency to wake up, to get up. And by the way, did we flush the Speaker? Did we flush him? Well, let's do it now. Why wait so long? That thing will smell if we don't flush it. Yes. Yes, that feels good. The air smells much better. We can breathe now. Yes, man. Huh? So, folks, I'm saying to you, let's rally. We're not going to disrespect anybody. The guy has more problems. The guy clearly has passed menopause and now he's alanopause. I don't know what next where the hell he's going to pause next. But, I mean, it is what it is. So I'm going to open the line just for a few minutes. If you want to call, folks, you can call at 929-586-1821. If you don't call, we're going to get off the air right now. But I want to thank all of you for your support. Please like, follow, and share the platform. Remember, we're on YouTube and on our Facebook page. We're working on some other apps so that you can view this program on. Thank you for your kind support. All right? So the lines are open, folks. Please call. Let me know what was your feeling today. Même si vous passez à parler English, you can speak your little Creole. Don't be afraid, all right? We speak everything here, all right? It is 8:48 in the PM. You can WhatsApp us, call us on WhatsApp, and let us hear from you, all right? I have a call coming in here. Caller, you're on the air.
Good night, my son.
Oh, my mother. How are you?
Me, I am not well. I am so angry that a while ago I touched my head and I feel as if it's so hot, smoke coming out of it. You know what upsets me is that this man has to undergo that kind of rubbish in our house of parliament, which has become house of disrepute. Yeah. I mean, these guys, their own conscience does not tell them that, after all, it's just one man that's there. It's all of us. Let him talk. And after all, we can rebuttal everything he has said.
True.
They have yet to see, and I don't have a problem with them. They're right to do what they're doing, because you don't hear solutions come out in umbrage against that kind of thing that they're hearing, the kind of behavior that is being taken place against one man or sometimes just the two of them in the House of Parliament. Yep. They listen to all the hypocrisy, all the lies, all the two-faced and double-tongued things that are being done. Look, you show it all out there tonight. They have seen it. They know it. Yep. You know, yet for some reason, solutions are quiet. They are not coming out. They are not standing up. It doesn't matter whether you voted for United Workers' Party. This is your country. You mean you don't have your own sense of right and wrong? That's right. That you can't see it? And what happened to Flubbles? They keep thinking that they must remain in silence in the back. And I don't blame Shat when he says he doesn't want to go out there and when he turned his back, because he has to take that kind of nonsense in the house. Have gone through hell with the amigos and the injunctions. And then when he turns behind, he cannot even see whether or not his supporters are there with him. They don't even have to wait for him to call. They just have to come out and show him that we think this is wrong. We support you. And I'm saying, you know, I am getting fed up. I am so pissed off. I am praying now. I'm in deep prayer and I'm going to have to fast because I need to get rid of that anger. Yes. I cannot believe our people are tolerating this. I'm not against the Labour Party. They're right. They're right to do that because they've been given all the privilege to continue this because the nation is saying nothing. Didn't you hear the Prime Minister? The people put us there. The majority put us there. So the people put them there and the people are not saying anything. So they're right to continue. They're right to make the country suffer because they're not seeing that the country is suffering. They're not feeling it because if they were, they would want to fight. And I am so ready. Let them come. They have come for me before. They have done all kinds of things. All I do, I don't touch people. I don't speak about people. I don't interfere with people. I stand up and I speak for my country. And I speak for the political leader that I believe can turn this country around and make it a place where my sons can survive, where I can survive in my old age, where the young people of this country can find hope. I believe Alan Shastney can do that. And that is what I have always been saying and standing for. And who wants to come and crucify me for it? I am ready. Because if Martin Luther didn't match and he lost his life, if all the others did not stand up to Mandela
That's
and
right.
all of them. Where in the dickens would we be today?
That's true.
And today we just keep silent and let these things go on and on and on. They better get up and show Alan Shastney that they mean business, because this is just getting out of hand. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, Mother. And the time is now. And that was a beautiful contribution. I know that Ms. Fletcher has been out there relentlessly behind the scenes, not only supporting, but encouraging, discouraging, doing what she must to help to keep the unity of the party. And thank God for her wisdom, her prayer, her stick-to-itness in this matter. She have never wavered in her support. No doubt at all. And what she's saying, she's angry. She's angry to the point where she got to go and fast and pray so that the Lord can assist her in getting this. Because, brethren, when you look at injustice, for those of you with a good heart, it pains you, it hurts you. And like she said, to see the opposition leader being abused on the inside, but when he gets outside, there is no support. There is no support, or just few support, then that is a problem. And that's why I said to you that all the talking and screaming is not going to help him. Those are distractions for him. And if we listen to this call, I think we would do very well. I said to you that the winds are at your back. And by the way, look at what we're talking about. With all the issues and concerns, Mr. Frederick said that he was going to bring the motion to take Mr. Shastney to the special committee. He was going to do it at the first setting. Huh? Now we are distracted by the CCJ, and Mr. Shastney made a powerful point. He said, look, man, y'all are waiting on the science to fix the roads. The roads are actually killing people. The potholes, our roads, are digging other holes in people's pocket, in their salaries. And what are we talking about? A speaker of the House not protecting a member who requested protection. That's what we should be discussing. We should be discussing healthcare. We should be discussing the nation's road. We should be discussing our young people. We should be discussing the crime rate in the country. Those are the things we should be discussing. But what are we discussing? Petty stuff that, does not help the hungry mother, the hungry child, the widowed, the orphan, the bereaved family, those who are making preparation to bury their deads, those who are going to the funeral homes to set up payment plan that they don't even have. And they're setting up those plans just to get their loved ones buried. They don't have the money. They don't know where they're going to get it. Half of these politicians, you got to set an appointment to see them. And when you set the appointment, you don't even see them. Some of them give you false and fake numbers. You think at least they would get some help to bury their deads? But what are we discussing? What is the discussion all about? And that's why we need to shift the discussion from us to those critical points that I brought to your attention. No electricity on the port in Dennery. Bad roads, failing infrastructure. They just borrowed a few millions today. Say, no, too much borrowing. But now they tell you this borrowing is a good borrowing. All other borrowing is not good. And before you would hear Borrow the money and give it to the people. Look, you borrow money. How much? 5 million or more? Are you going to give it to the people? No, you're not. Because you know that's not how government works. That's not how it works. So I would say to you folks, the best thing to do, the best weapon that you have also is prayer. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Understand the fight. Some of us are fighting physical battles, spiritual battles physically. If you check your country, there is something demonic that has taken over the nation. And don't tell me I am wrong. I can't be wrong on this. Where every other week or every other day, blood is required. Somebody is being killed. People have lost their minds. And your government refused to call a day of prayer and fast. A national day of prayer. Refused under Alan Shastney, you would have day of prayer and fast. Or day of prayer. National day of prayer. These guys don't even speak of prayer. Because many of them are busy sleeping with these young girls all in their communities. Some of them have slept with more women than they've slept with their wives. And that's the truth. Lawlessness. Some of them are sexually immoral. And I'm shocked to hear that when you go to bury your dead, you got to pay taxes. I think the government need to pass something. If your loved one die, one from the state, either police shooting or they die through crime, some crime on the island, that they should be buried tax-free. I strongly believe that. Even the dead, they tax you even in death. And now there are new taxes that are coming on stream. How are you going to survive? And we're talking about the Speaker of the House. We're talking about the CCJ. Folks, I'm saying to you, let's come together, rally together, and pray together. Don't let evil take over the United Workers' Party. You guys need to pray. I know that I believe was the Women Arms who did a day of prayer. Have more prayer sessions leading into your convention. Nobody can beat prayer, especially when you're innocent. Pray on. Push. Don't let anybody fool you. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock in your country. It's 9:01 here in very cold New York with ice on the ground. So, folks, I really appreciate being here with you. But with Sasho, guys, we need to do something for my friend Sasho. Somebody need to lead that charge. Those of you in the diaspora, come together. Buy some curtains for her, some pots. She lost everything. Y'all come together. Y'all know what to do. I know things are tough, but I mean, it's tax season too. You can come together and help one of your own. Y'all don't help your own. I know many of you were burned by other people, but don't let that stop you from doing good. Because all the time I'm hearing Shasho, everybody's saying how good this is a good woman. But initiate something. Give her a call. How many of you have called her? Some of you don't even talk to each other. You're in the same party and you don't even talk to each other. You're supporting the same Shastney. Some of you don't even talk to each other. You don't even greet each other. You guys jete parole by Yonalot. My friend Cleopatra, I'm praying for your mom and thank you for your appreciation. And I know you appreciate me very much. I know that and I appreciate you too. and my friend Catherine Bernard. I can never forget this sister. I saw her by TP, and my spirit just took her one time. If I could have gone and just give her a hug, a squeeze, I would have done it. But when Marty could let sister, Marty with sister, from my pluck, Marty with sister, famous. But Catherine St. Bernard, I love her. She's I don't know, she has a warm spirit, a beautiful, calm spirit. You know, just being in her presence, you like controlled is like, Veronica, my friend, God bless you too. But all of you are good supporters, I must say. When I need to be rebuked, you do rebuke me. When I need to be encouraged, you do encourage me. And that's the, that's the kind of thing that we need. But let's pray together. The family that prays together stays together. And, my favorite song, it says, I need the prayers of those I love. Things are tough, times are rough, and who knows? Let's rally behind Shasho, all right? Let's rally behind her. And I'm not sure how many of you are part of our WhatsApp, Caribbean American WhatsApp group. We have a group. I know some of you left, and I understand that you felt bad during that period of time. But if you so desire to join, don't be afraid to join. That's where we receive information and we share information. It's Caribbean American News on our WhatsApp page. What you can do is to send me a message that you want to join, or if you can find a link, but send me a message at 929-586-1821 if you would want to join that WhatsApp. It is very controlled now. There is not a lot of things just being peddled all over the place. But God bless you, folks, and do have yourself a beautiful night. Let me just say a short prayer with you. Father, protect your children as they depart. Bless them, oh God. May the Lord bless you, keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you. May he lift up his countenance upon you, give you peace, peace in your homes, peace wheresoever you go. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, folks, be blessed, stay blessed. And remember that a kind word can help. You know, sometimes a little text to someone saying, I love you, I appreciate you. Maybe it can help lift a heavy burden. Stay positive. Do your best, and God will do the rest. Mr. Speaker, co-speaker.
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role? Since when that's your role?
Amen. Let me just read your comments as you go. I know you're leaving, but I like to read comments as we depart. Hey. A lot of comments. I don't think I can manage all. Okay, Champagne, we'll have to talk about that tomorrow. Yes, Flavius. Champagne and everybody come together and have something to help her. Show her some love and appreciation. Because she's depressed. She do, go through some spike in depression. Yes. Rachel Smith says that's why Rick Quinn tells St. Lucians get off their behind and speak up. And that's the truth. You know, sometimes you stand behind us, you stand behind others to speak for you, but you can speak a helping word. Yes. Martin, my friend, Martin Francis, my buddy. Yeah, there are more ULPs than SLPs. So what are we afraid of? Don't be afraid. Hi, Charles. Yes. Well said. Martin, 5 years of this government will be death of St. Lucia. Those fellas even taxing the dead. I said it, yes, true. Every Flood says, sorry for me, oh no, I'm enjoying waiting for the third year because by the end of it, all of you will be begging for Europe to come fix the country. Have patience. Great show. God bless you. Amen. Thank you, everybody. So I can't read all the comments because I have to go. I miss Guy Joseph. Yes, today Guy Joseph would have Waje the speaker and then just do his favor, suck teeth, and just walk out. Yes, amen. My spiritual mother, Joycelyn Fletcher, Dr. Fletcher, if it wasn't for you, man, I don't know where. By the way, God is faithful. God is good. If it were not for your prayers, discouragement, and encouragement, I don't know where I would be. I thank you so much for all that you do. Amen. And I'm having a documentary on behalf of Mr. Alan Shastney. I'm going to be doing it on the island of St. Lucia. I will be airing it down in St. Lucia. I'll try to see if I can hook up with, I know I will be on Sky FM Live, but I'll see if I can get a television network to carry our program, special program in dedication to Mr. Alan Shastney and his contribution, both his father and their contribution towards the development of the people of St. Lucia. So God bless you folks, and see you, boss lady, over on our YouTube. Lucy, my friend, and all, Maria Smith, and all the others over, Vero over on our YouTube channel. Rose, God bless you all, bless you all. Joseph, blessings, man. God bless you. See you all, folks. I gotta go.